To get us started, we do have a special guest here today, and her name is Cora Mae. Yeah, Cora Mae has something she wants to say, so we're going to just say hello, Cora Mae.
Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here. I'm Cora Mae Reithbon. I'm Sherry's cousin 4 times removed. I just so glad to be here, you know. We're getting ready for our Purim party tonight, and I come over to Cousin Bob and Cousin Sherry's to pick up a few things. They're loading up the truck now, and so I thought I'd just pop in for a quick howdy do, because I just love all of y'all out there. I do. And I just tell you, all the youngins around here is so excited about our Purim party. Why, they all get to dress up as Bible characters, and they just love the dressing up. I mean, now they done picked my costume out for me. Looky here what they done. Lola Mae's girls came up with this idea for my costume. Now I want y'all to look at this. What y'all think that is? What y'all think it is? It's the Red Sea. I'm going as the Red Sea tonight. Y'all want to see a miracle? Huh? Y'all want to see? Looky here. The Red Sea just parted. It just parted. Looky there. I'm going as the Red Sea. I'm going as a miracle tonight. Wasn't that clever? I mean, little kids can just come up with stuff. They're just so clever, you know. But, you know, sometimes they're not quite as little bit too clever. Like, we've had a few what you might call incidences because of their cleverness. But you know how God all watches out after kids, you know, so it really did work out.
Well, it worked out. Well, what happened?
Well, now, there was the year that Albert David wanted to make a grand entrance as Mordecai. So Albert David talked little Clyde into leading him up to the house on his horse. You know, like that guy's whose name we don't mention, that Haman guy, led Mordecai around on a horse. Well, you know, when I heard that, I told his mama Betty Jean that it probably wasn't a real good idea for little Clyde to be acting like Haman, but she just couldn't understand the significance of what I was trying to tell her, because she was kind of new to messianic parties and all, and she does get a little testy when you try to tell her anything about her little darlings. But anyhow, she just bowed up and said, Haman's a Bible character, so little Clyde could do that. And I said, well, you know, I ain't one to argue with the parents about their youngins, you know. That's up to them, so I just dropped it. Well, Albert David made his grand entrance with a little Clyde leading the horse. And I tell you what, it was really something to see. It was a grand interest. I mean, everybody was oohing and ahhing over their idea, you know. And everybody was just cheering Mordecai on as he was led around by little Clyde being Haman around on his horse. Well, you know, we went on and the kids was a-playing and all that. And later on, we called the kids in for some of them Hamantash and cookies that Lola Lee makes every year. I mean, the kids just love Lola Lee's Hamantash and cookies. Well, little Clyde's baby sister, Lucy Bell, came in and crying, saying little Clyde was just going to miss out on the Hamantash and cookies, and they was his favorite, because he'd had just a bite of some of them. You know, like Lola Lee was trying to get him ready for his first Purim party and gave him one, and he really liked them. Well, I told Lucy Bell, I said, don't worry about it. It'll be all right. He'll be up here in a minute. And she just told us that he was just tied up with something and just couldn't come right then. Well, I went out on the front porch to see what was going on, that little Clyde wasn't coming for his Hamantash cookies, because he's the one that likes his sweets. What do y'all reckon I saw? Yep. Little Clyde was tied up with something, all right. He'd been duct taped to the oak tree in the front yard. It seems some of them older boys didn't like Haman, and so they was really getting into the spirits of Purim. And when they got a hold of Haman and they duct taped him to the tree, and of course we was real mighty glad they didn't find the rope that was in the shed, because there's no telling what would have happened. So you see, that's what I mean when I say everything turns out all right. But of course, his mama, Betty Jean, wasn't too happy, and I did try to warn her it wasn't a good idea. But she's what you call a nervous mama. But she calmed down a mite when she saw that none of little Clyde's hide was ripped off when we got that duct tape off of him. Well, we greased that boy up like an old grease climbing pole at the county fair. And when Betty Jean saw how smooth all that duct tape came off, she calmed down a mite. And I'm happy to report that the older boys apologized to little Clyde. They didn't mean no harm. They was just getting into the swing of things about what to do with Hayman. And little Clyde was all right because he got 4 of those delicious Hamantaschen cookies for his trouble. Of course, one year things didn't turn out quite that happy. You know, that was the years that Charles Douglas came with a bunch of tree branches tied to himself. And then he announced he was the burning bush. Well, let's just say we was glad Ross and Jimmy John were there. They work on the volunteer fire department, and they did get to him in time. I'm glad to report that Charles Douglas healed right up using Grandma Jean's burn grease. Yep, that's some amazing stuff. And he learned not to play with matches, especially when you got branches tied to yourself. So no scars, and he's okay. Well, you know, after that burning boy bush incident, we decided it might be good if we have an official pre-Purim costume inspector. Yep, the kids' costumes have to be pre-approved. And this year, I'm the official costume inspector, you know, and it's a good thing, too, because I ran into Alice Faye and Pansy Lou, and they was going to bring their baby sister, Moss Rose, to the party as a cherub angel. You know, they'd gone on this field trip with some of their homeschooling buddies, and they went to this museum to see these painting pictures on the wall. And in some of them pictures, they had little fat babies with wings, and they was told they was cherub angels. Well, Alice Faye and Pansy Lou thought that their new baby sister, Moss Rose, was just as pretty as any of them cherub angels in those museum painting pictures on the wall. In fact, she was a lot prettier than them cherub angel in them painting pictures that were on the wall. She sure does have a cute little old face, and she's a chubby little thing. Why, her face is as round as the bottom of a pie pan. She's just as cute as she can be. Anyway, the girls was bringing Moss Rose as a cherub angel tonight because cherub angels are in the Bible, you see, and they have to be Bible characters. Well, I was about to approve them bringing her as a cherub angel, but one small problem came up. It's not so much that they was dressing Moss Rose up as a cherub angel as it was Alice Faye and Pansy Lou was planning to put the dog's harness around her little shoulder, attach her to a rope, and swing her from the oak tree in the front yard so she could be a flying cherub angel. Well, you know, when I heard that, I knew I had to nip that in the bud. Just nip it, just right in the bud. But I had to do it in such a way that the little darlings wouldn't be discouraged, you know. Well, I thought about it, and I told them, I said, you know, that flying in the tree stuff might scare little baby Moss Rose. And since she's so little and all, and she would start crying. And it wouldn't do to have the crying cherub angel crying as it swung through the trees. So they didn't want to scare their baby sister. So we all agreed that they could go out to the hen house and they can pluck some feathers off them hens because they ain't laying right now, so it won't affect their laying. And they could glue them all over little Moss Rose's dress. And they was satisfied with that. While last time I looked, they was chasing some hens in that hen yard back there. I think they got one of them and was just plucking it, you know, just pulling them things out. And they was going to paste them to little Moss Rose. You know, but I think about our Purim parties, and it's not the costumes or the Hamantaschen cookies and all that. It really comes down to reading the book of Esther. You know, that's the history that we got. You know, I'm the family storyteller in training for our family, and all these are written down for God's family. So, you know, all the young'uns have so much fun booing old Hayman and cheering Mordecai and sighing over Esther and sneezing at King Ahasuerus' name. But the most important thing is they're learning about Elohim when they hear them true Bible stories. They're learning that Elohim has a plan for their life and he directs their footsteps, even when they don't understand it. Just like old Queen Esther, they didn't know why she ended up married to that old pagan king, but she trusted Elohim. And the kids are learning that we are called upon to do some things we don't want to do, but it's the right thing to do. Queen Esther knew it could cost her her life, but she chose to lay down her life for her people. She said, if I die, I die. And then we learn about community because all the community banded together to pray. And you know what? They learn that God hears and answers them prayers. So you see, although we have a lot of fun, them's the most important things we want our little ones to take from these Purim parties and from the feast of the Lord. But anyhow, well, I see Cousin Bob and Cousin Sherry about got the truck loaded, and I guess I better get on down with my costume inspection. I got a call from Jody Lee. She reported seeing the Dolan boys getting frogs and snakes down at the creek. I think maybe them boys has got Purim confused with Passover, so I'm going to have to leave and go check it out, you know. But that's how it goes. We just got to keep running herd on them lilies, right?
That's right, Cora Mae. We are so glad that you joined us today. Come back and see us some other time, okay?
Okay.
Anytime.
And busy. Kind of keep these little kids out. You know, that's like herding cats. I don't know if you've ever tried to run a herd of cats, but these little youngins are like trying. But you don't want to discourage them because you want them to learn the things of God. So anyhow, busy. Gotta run and hog Purim Sameach to all of y'all out there. Ha.
All right. See you later. Bye, Cora Mae. All right. Well, wasn't that an exciting visit by Cora Mae and her stories? Well, she has some stories, doesn't she?
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.